Today we're talking about how to set up an LLC in Alabama. My name is Eric, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 different methods that you can go about doing this. So if you want to go the DIY route and do it yourself, or pay a little bit more money and have an attorney help you, but I'm also going to have a tip on how you can actually get a free consult with an attorney if you do plan on going that route. But more important than how you do it is making sure you're doing it correctly. So if you're not familiar with terms such as piercing the corporate veil, registered agent, or commingling funds, I'm going to be explaining all 3 of these terms and why they're important for making sure you have a legit LLC. Now, to get started, let's talk about the first way you can set it up. If you were to go to Google and just kind of Google something like Alabama File LLC, the first organic listing here is the state website. Now, taking a quick look at this, probably one of the first things you notice is the Secretary of State, the $200 filing fee. There are other fees actually associated with this beyond this, because if you look down here, it says, as far as the procedures, you must obtain a certificate of name reservation. And when you click on this link here, you'll notice that there's an additional $25 processing fee for getting the name reservation. So now you're up to $225. And then there's fees like for paying for credit card. Really, you're going to be paying somewhere around $225 to $240 in fees to get your LLC set up as of making this video. There is no way around that. If you go through an attorney, they may bake it into their fees, but you are going to pay the state of Alabama a minimum of $225 to set up your LLC. More likely, after all your fees are included, probably around $237. Now, if you go back here, you may be wondering too, what's the difference between a domestic LLC filing and a foreign LLC filing? If your business is located in Alabama, you have an Alabama state address, you're going to be setting up most likely a domestic LLC. But let's say that you had a business that was in Texas, you would have a domestic LLC in the state of Texas, but then you may get a foreign LLC in the state of Alabama. The reason some businesses would do that is they're doing business inside of Texas, but perhaps they do business outside of their state in Alabama, and they want additional protection, so they set up a foreign LLC in Alabama in addition to their domestic LLC in Texas. Hopefully that makes sense. 95% of people, you're just going to be setting up a domestic LLC. So before I show you how to file the LLC PDF here, just know in the description below are links to all the resources mentioned in this video. Most of those are free resources. If it was an affiliate link, I'll mark it as a paid link, but I just want to make you aware that those links and resources are all available for you below. So I'm going to click on this PDF here, and when this opens up here, a lot of information you got to fill out on your own. The problem that I have with a lot of the state websites is they don't do the greatest job of educating you as you're going through the process. And a good example of that is the registered agent. As you recall at the beginning of this video, we mentioned, we're going to be talking about that. A lot of people don't know what the registered agent does for your LLC, and they may make a mistake in who they choose to be the registered agent. So one of the things I want to talk about before I get to registered agent is exactly what is an LLC. What an LLC does, a lot of people get confused. They think there might be some tax benefit to setting it up. There is not. It's simply for limiting your liability. So you can think of your business, right? You have your business assets. It could be furniture. It could be your office space, all sorts of things as far as your business assets. And then you have your personal assets. That could be your personal home, car, personal bank accounts. What an LLC does is it draws a division between your business assets and your personal assets. So unfortunately, if you were ever sued, what's going to happen is they can come after your business assets, but not your personal. So you get sued, they're not coming, and getting your car out of your driveway at home. But what that attorney suing you is going to try to do is pierce the corporate veil. That's some legal jargon, basically saying they're trying to find cracks in your LLC and saying this is not a legit LLC, and they're going to erase that division, the corporate veil, between your personal and business assets and try to come after not just your business assets, but your personal assets as well. One of the ways they may try to do this is if you don't have a proper registered agent. So what exactly is a registered agent? So there's a good article on this on InkFile. If you're not familiar with InkFile, it's an online legal tool to set up your LLC. And if we scroll down here, they got a little checklist of what your registered agent does for you. It's official letters and correspondence from your Secretary of State, service of process notices, which is basically if you were to be sued, making sure you're getting the proper documents, showing up in court and those things, official federal government correspondence information and notifications, tax forms and requests for payments, and requests to complete permits, company filings, or reports. Basically, a registered agent is a third party that is in your state. They must have a state address, and they're making sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's and doing everything that you're supposed to be doing from a document standpoint or annual reports and filings. So that's the issue that I have with the state website is sometimes people might say, you know what, my cousin that lives down the street lives in the state. I'm going to have him be my registered agent, but that person doesn't actually know what they're doing, and they may actually make it so that there's a crack in your LLC because they didn't do something they were supposed to do. So I always recommend to have a professional registered agent handle these duties and tasks for you. So that's why I don't really love the state website is it just doesn't do a great job of educating you and holding your hand as you're going through the process. Now, if you were to go through a tool such as InkFile, the interesting thing about it is when you land on here, it says that they've helped over 500,000 businesses, or they've launched over 500,000 businesses since 2004. But as you scroll down, it's as little as $0 plus state fee. So the state fee we already talked about, but you're probably wondering, like, how does a service like this do this for $0? Well, I'm going to get to that right now. If you were to click Launch My Business, what you'd do is you'd go to LLC and Alabama. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a link in the description as well for InkFile. And you can see the silver package here. It's $237 one-time payment, but the package fee is $0. And then the $237, as you can see here, that is all going to the state. This is just a pass-through, and it's 100% to the Secretary of State for all those different various fees that we mentioned earlier. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to prepare and file the articles of organization, unlimited name searches. So that part actually you can do on your own if you're going through the state website. And this is important too, because I want to highlight this. When you're creating a name for your business, you want to make sure it's unique within your state. So what I mean is, like, if you pick something that's pretty common, like Roll Tide, and you had, an auto dealership, if you search through this function here, which they can help you do right through the InkFile site, you'll see there's a Roll Tide auto sale. So that's not going to actually be available for you. You need more of a unique name. Now, if I just kind of went crazy on the keyboard here and did something like that, and you did a search, what you're going to see is there's no matches found. That's what you want, so that you have a unique name that you can actually own and have the LLC for it. Now, if you're going through InkFile, again, they're going to help you with that through the process. But this one's interesting is they have a free registered agent service for a year. So the way that works is if we go back to this article on InkFile and we scroll down a little bit further, you're going to see right here that their registered agent service is $0 for the first year, and then it's $119 annually after that. So that is one of the ways that InkFile makes money is year 2, year 3, year 4. They're going to have that $119. But again, money well spent. This is going to be a professional registered agent in your state that is going to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's so you don't have any cracks in your LLC. So if you're sued, they can't come after your personal assets. Very important. So I always recommend to go with a professional registered agent, and it's nice that this service is free for the first year. So if you go back here, you can upgrade into the gold and platinum packages. So you get everything here, but then all these items mentioned below. The EIN business tax number. So this is something you can set up with the IRS yourself. I set that up myself when I got my LLC set up. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but if you want to do it, this is the article. This is the resource you want to walk through. It's going to have all the kind of frequently asked questions, and you can apply for an EIN online. Again, resources in the description below for this. But if you want to have InkFile take care of this for you, they will do that for you. Good time to mention, like, I'm not a CPA and an attorney. I'm just someone who's done a lot of research on this as I set up my own business. I want to share with you all the different resources and avenues that are available to you. Now, going back to another item that I want to cover on here is the business banking account. This is one that people overlook sometimes. They get excited to start the business. They have their personal bank account, and they're running their personal finances and business finances through that bank account. That is called commingling funds. And again, if you're commingling funds, it's a crack in your LLC. So an attorney that sues you sees that, they're going to pierce the corporate veil and come after your personal assets as well. That's why it's really important to set up a business bank account on day one. Make sure you're running all your finances through that business bank account so you have a legit LLC. And then also at tax time, it becomes a little bit easier to prepare for taxes because all your business expenses and incomes are coming through that one bank account as opposed to trying to figure out what's going on in your personal account. As of right now, they use Bank of America for the business banking account. Again, this is something you can set up on your own, but they do that and all these additional items for you if you go with the gold package. Some people like the platinum package because then you're getting business contract templates, expedited filing, domain name, and business email in addition to everything else you see on the screen. But let's say say that you were to get the gold package and you continue on through here. Again, you see the itemized state filing fee of $237, the package fee here. One thing that I wanted to highlight here is the tax savings benefits. This is a fully deductible business expense. So make sure that no matter what route you go, that you do keep track of those receipts, because you're going to want to deduct that at tax time. Now, it's really up to you if you want to go the DIY route on the state website or InkFile. I tend to push people to InkFile just because it's going to hold your hand through the entire process, and I just find it a lot easier. Now, earlier I did mention if you wanted to get an attorney. If you have a complicated business or there's lots of potential liability, because one business doesn't necessarily have as much liability as another. If you were opening up a bakery versus starting a roofing company. A roofing company, you might have employees falling off the roof, things crashing through someone's house. There's a lot of chances and opportunities to be sued. So you can see how there's more liability in one of those than the other. You may want to consult with an attorney. If you are already creating income in and out of state, you may want to consult with an attorney. So one of the tools and resources I like to recommend is one called Avo. I am not affiliated with them in any way, but I will have this specific link in the description below. So you can see that you're looking at Alabama Limited Liability Company, LLC lawyers, and that there are 19 results. But one of the cool things about this service is just essentially like a lawyer directory, is if you scroll down, you can click on free consultation. And now what we're looking at are 5 results. So you can look at the reviews, but these are 5 attorneys that offer a 15-minute free consult. Of course, if you do end up filing with them, your cost might be anywhere from $800 to $3,000 going through an attorney. But if you have a complex business model, that is something that you may want to consider, and just make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. As I mentioned earlier, I do have links below for all of these services, and if it is an affiliate link, I will mark that, but I appreciate you supporting my channel and using my link there. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is there's a InkFile review video here on the screen, but at about the 2:30 mark of that video, I get into an S-Corp versus LLC tax calculator. Even if you're not making any income in your business today, it's just something good to know down the road that you can start it as an LLC and potentially have an S-Corp designation that can help you save on taxes. So I'll catch you in the next video.